Howdy, y'all. Of course, I'm Mrs. Snarky, and me and my panelists are going to let y'all know what's happening. So let me go ahead and introduce my panelists, starting with my kick-ass producer, Maddie.
That's me. I'm Maddie of the Objectively Subjective channel. You can call me Godless Iowan if you want. I don't care. I'm going to be making more Godless Iowan videos, so yeah. Call me whatever you want. I have a channel and my face is painted.
Perfect. All right, and next we have Faithless Southerner.
Howdy, y'all. I'm the Faithless Southerner. Sub to my channel.
I think I should be offended, but I'm not.
No, you shouldn't be.
So, okay, next we have #Heathen.
Hey, I have a channel. It's #Heathen. There's some stuffs on there.
Yay, stuff! So we also have, new to the panel, we have Dallas Wade.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dallas Wade. You can find me on my channel, Dallas Wade. Sometimes I upload videos.
So. Awesome. Sometimes, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
There's a lot of us in the community that are like that. Evans, Brett.
Hey, I got 2 videos out this month.
You did. Awesome. Speaking of Red, show your channel.
Yeah, I'm Red Vencher. Channel's the same name. New video just came out yesterday, so if you want to go check me out.
He talks about mostly badgers and turtles on his channel.
Yes.
And real quick announcement.
And then bulls next.
Oh, God.
Snarky, Rhetoric and Discourse just subscribed to your channel.
Oh, yay! Thank you. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Rhetoric and Discourse. If you're not subscribed to them, you should check them out too.
Don't say it. They're from Nebraska. We can't be fans of people from Nebraska.
I am.
Oh.
Hey, you're a fan of mine. I'm from Texas. So.
I kissed the mouth that just said that.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. So, okay, just a reminder, I'm not monetized right now, so I can't get super chats, but I do have Streamlabs, works just like super chats. Streamlabs.com/Mrs. Snarky, or is it / I don't know. I also have a Patreon, Mrs. Snarky, and merch in my Teespring store, Mrs. Snarky store. All the links are in the poopity doopity below. So yay! Thanks for all your support. And onward with this show. We also have some breaking news that's really disturbing. Apparently, there was another shooting between Odessa and Midland in Texas, where 5 people have been killed and more than 20 injured after somebody opened fire on a highway. So, yeah, that's a thing that's going on.
Oh, I thought this was going to be about the Alabama stuff from last night. There's 10 injured last night in a shooting at a high school football game.
Wow. At a football game? I didn't know about that one.
Not just that, I didn't even realize we had a mass shooting just a couple miles south of us.
Really?
Seriously?
On Interstate 35. Someone was driving down the road. I just learned it, but it happened like a month ago. Someone was driving down the road shooting at cars from their vehicle.
Jesus.
Hey,
and I don't remember how many people were injured. Most of it was from like glass coming through the windows and stuff. So not very. One person I know got shot. But yeah.
Wow.
That person's dead.
Yeah.
They didn't say, like, they ended up in a standoff with the cops and they did.
Yeah, that tends to
happen.
Yeah, that's what happens when you try to duke it out with the cops. I mean, they're like trained professionals. I don't know. I'm tired of this, y'all. I'm tired of these shootings.
Yeah.
That's basically. So we need something that is a lot better than this.
Palate cleanser.
So we got a really cool video here from #Heathen. Thank you. Mwah. This. And this is a puppy dog that escaped from their home, and they come back to the door, and it's just brilliant what happens. Just watch, y'all.
It's a puppy.
Yeah. It's knocking. It's so smart, right?
It rings the doorbell.
Yeah.
Oh, this is adorable.
Yes, it is. It's so
That's
cute.
beautiful.
Let me in.
Hello. I'm back.
I'm not supposed to be here.
Not even supposed to be here today.
Are we just watching the same exact thing over and over? Like, I don't think.
It does look like a loop.
Yeah, it's on a loop.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It says it's like a minute long. But yeah, that's just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Oh.
Which is more amazing, the dog on the porch or the guy that wears the TV and leaves CRT TVs on people's porches? Because that's
dog.
amazing.
No. TV dude, definitely.
TV dude is amazing.
Yeah.
What?
That is pretty cool.
But the dog knocking and ringing the
I
doorbell.
don't
is
care.
If it was a
I
cat, it
don't
would be better.
care.
If the dog was wearing a TV, this would be a different story, but it's not.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Sorry.
they actually there's some that'll train the dogs so that you hook up a bell or something by the door, so when they got to go out, they go and hit the bell for you.
Oh,
So
it's cool.
yeah, they train them how to do it quite a bit.
Yeah, that's really common.
I love the chat. Dave's not here, man. That's funny. Well,
Snarky and Maddie put a dog outside their house and just left them there to scratch at the door. No, we did not.
oh my goodness. So, okay, moving on to something more serious. I wanted to talk about how important it is to develop self-control and other life skills. I think that it's one of the things that need to be kind of taught in like high school so that people are able to better deal with the challenges of life, right? And I ran across this paper here, which is in the Boopity Doopity or whatever, that talks about the importance of developing life skills. It's one of the things that's there's a life skills education program that's been designed by the World Health Organization. And in this study, they tried to determine the importance of implementation and training of these skills through psychological orientation, and paid a brief overview of the applicants and then the challenges facing it. This has to do with also not just, skills in order to like cook and clean, protect yourself, have good hygiene and stuff like that, but also social skills, social psychological skills. One thing that I do want to highlight, if I can get this to scroll, it's very, very tricky, is the 10 aspects of life skills that they include in this. One of them is problem-solving ability. And it says, we're constantly solving problems in our lives. Some of these problems are simple, others require complex thought. Problem-solving abilities help us solve our life's problems in a desirable way. If important problems in our life remain unsolved, we'll be faced with mental stress, physical and mental health will be put at risk. Very important. So, yeah. Number 2, the ability to make decisions. Although we all make decisions, not always make intelligent ones. Some wrong decisions lead to unpleasant consequences. Holy shit, really? Decision-making skills help us decide correctly on our actions and ponder upon various aspects of positive and negative consequences of each of them. Appropriate and realistic decisions lead to higher levels of mental health. Okay, number 3, the ability to have intelligent thinking. This kind of thinking helps us understand issues from different angles and evaluate different solutions to a problem and its consequences, and finally find new solutions to the problem. By using this skill, we can make better decisions and problems are resolved more practically. Number 4, the ability to think critically. By this skill, we analyze and evaluate our thinking and others and achieve more clear understanding. This ability helps us analyze the information and experiences we're faced with and resist against the values and pressures we're imposed upon, and know that the behaviors of others are not always right. All right. The ability to interact with others, number 5. Most of our time during the day is assigned to interact with others and express our needs even more and to understand the needs of others. Interaction capabilities help us have verbal and nonverbal communication more effectively and express our ideas to others by overcoming the embarrassment. If we acquire this kind of skill, we can disagree with unsuitable demands of others if necessary. Remember, I was talking about boundaries yesterday? It's important. All right, number 6, the ability to have interpersonal relationships. Interpersonal relationship ability may help us better cooperate and participate with others and also trust them, identify the boundaries of our relationships, and maintain good friendships and behave more effectively in the beginnings and end of communications. Number 7, self-conscious ability. It means self-cognitive ability and awareness, the strengths and weaknesses of our desires, because we all have strengths and weaknesses. If you just deny the weaknesses, they don't go away. You can't deal with them. Of our desires, fears, willingness, and desires. That's a little redundant. Anyway, this ability helps us have a realistic view of ourselves and know our rights and responsibilities better. And one of the, I think, most important things is the ability to empathy. The ability to empathy means to be able to understand others' lives, even not present at those circumstances. Empathy helps us accept those who are different from us and respect them. Those who have more empathy to others have more interest toward them and tolerate different people and have less aggression and are lovelier. This is something we desperately need right now in our society, isn't it?
Yeah.
This skill improves people's social relations. Number 9, the ability to deal with emotions, another very important thing. This skill includes the ability to identify our emotions and of others, and also identify the effects of emotions on behaviors. This skill helps us show appreciation or appropriate reaction in times of failure, anger, depression, and anxiety. And you will experience that in life, no doubt about it. And finally, number 10, the ability to deal with psychological pressure or stress. This ability includes identifying various life stresses and its impact on our behavior. The skill also enables us to identify mental stress resources and to follow the correct ways to reduce stress. And also, to add to this, if you're aware of the stress that you're having, you know, it's best to look at it, to deal with it, to not deny it, and seek help. Like if you're having a stressful experience that is way too much, there are programs out there that can help you deal with it. Like if you have anger problems, you can go to anger management. If you have issues with anxiety, you can go see a cognitive behavioral therapist. There are all kinds of resources out there, and it's okay to seek help. It's okay to ask for it. We're only human, we're fallible, we make mistakes, and sometimes we need one another. It's important to remember that. So, what y'all think?
I think you missed a very key point.
I did.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about any of that as long as you give the right amount of money to the right people.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my God.
I would
Right.
just, I'm not going to toot my own horn here or anything, but I think I've got like at least 1.5 of these on lock.
Yeah.
So
I have learned tonight I have one weakness, which is honey in my hair, as well as the lesser, like, I don't know. It says the chat says that I'm weak in terms of plutonium or fire. But I'm not going to test it. But,
what about alcohol? That,
Like
people,
12 beer.
maybe a slight bit of
12 beers.
weakness to alcohol.
I think 10 beers is a weakness.
Yeah, 12 was way too much.
Yes, it was. It was. So, I mean, like in terms of, because I self-analyze a lot, probably too much, and there is such a thing as too much. But I do think it's important to realize where it is, what you need to work on. And I also think it's important that everyone realizes that they're going to run into these problems when it comes to life, and they have to learn how to be able to cope with it. They need these skills. Everyone does. Because life sucks, and being with other people and having to deal with other people sucks, and we need to know how to do it without fucking up our entire world or someone else's world.
The worst part of my day is people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sartre was right when he said hell is other people. Like,
Yes.
no doubt about it. But
I think
yeah.
empathy is the biggest one on that list, really, in my mind.
I think so too.
People really need to work on
Yeah.
developing more empathy.
Yeah, that and being able to deal with emotions.
Mhm.
I think emotions are like if you're so caught up in the emotions that are repressed, like rage and things like that, you tend to like project that to an out group. So I think that working on that would lay the foundation for having more empathic development.
Yeah.
So
You can just at me next time.
For those that don't know, Faithless Southerner is the worst human being ever.
Yep.
We basically only keep him around to make the rest of us feel better.
That is
oh,
objectively true.
Oh, mean.
But at least I have a use, right?
That's right. You have a very good use.
Gotta always look on the bright side.
I'm always like, am I awful for thinking this? Then I'm like, wait, no, I know Faithless Southerner, so I'm okay.
Yep.
That's so bad.
You're definitely useful at burning down Twitter.
Yes.
Yes.
Faithless Southerner wakes up in the morning and is like, I'm going to put the most benign thing on Twitter that I know is going to make people rage.
There's just riots everywhere in their wake. Just riots.
I'm feeling very kink shamed right now on multiple.
Faithless Southerner wakes up and gets on Twitter and is like, we should all be nicer to people. And then someone is accusing him of trying to murder their grandmother.
You fucking Christian.
Yeah, theist.
God, the amount of times that I have been accused of being a theist, it pales in comparison to the times that Evans has been accused of being.
Like, seriously, what does that say about the empathy thing we were just talking about? That on Twitter, just saying, hey, maybe you should be a little nicer is seen as, oh, you're a Christian.
Yeah,
Yep.
as if that negates what criticism they had. I don't know.
I love Twitter so much.
Yeah.
There's no empathy on Twitter.
I
That's
love
why
No.
I stay away from it.
it. Is
Yeah.
it's such a shit show. It's awesome.
Yeah, you're wiser than we are, Dallas. Like,
I've got in-laws, so Twitter is just, that's too much.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
I hear that.
Hey.
Actually, I think when it comes, I'm lucky with my in-laws, really. I mean,
That's good.
There's
That's
some
good.
things that are really annoying, like we don't agree politically or philosophically on pretty much anything, but they're good people. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Good
Well, that's
people on
good.
both sides.
I mean, annoying in-laws is a lot better than having in-laws that want to like murder you and stuff. So
That's
Yeah,
true.
I mean, definitely. Like, that's a plus.
consider yourself blessed.
hashtag blessed.
Hashtag
yes.
blessed.
Thanks, Jesus.
Thanks, Jesus.
So
Praise
So in
God.
the chat, there is no super chat. There is the streamlabs.com/Mrs. Snarky if you want to send something that way. Snarky
Yeah.
does not have super chat yet.
yeah, the link is down in the description for
It's also on the page, or on the screen. I'm just gonna stop talking now.
okay.
Ha, ha.
You
So
get super chats at 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Yeah.
1,000 subscribers, 4,000 watch hours.
Watch hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got a long way to go, y'all.
I don't
Yeah.
ever have to worry about that.
Yeah.
Me neither.
Say that. You say that now. So, Red, what do you think of this topic that we've discussed here?
I mean, hold on a second.
Are
Oh,
you asking Red because you think he has no empathy?
no.
Well,
Why
that
you
much is
calling
true.
Red out?
That much is true. I
no.
know that much.
No, I
I've
just
seen my arguments on Twitter.
I just hadn't heard his input yet. So
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot. A lot of agreeing with stuff going around, so I don't have a big.
Heavens. Okay. Alrighty, I guess we can move on to the next topic, which we're going to Maddie.
Hey everybody, I'm Maddie of the Object. Oh wait, this is not that part. Okay, so my first topic is pretty short. I'm going to talk about activism and how there's many different ways to do it and many different levels. There are people that are able to do a great deal because of the size of their scope. And I think a lot of times people forget scope in terms of what they do on activism. So for me, I have 1,000 subscribers and I have done quite a few fundraisers for people and have been able to be successful in pretty much everything that I've done in that way. Now, if I were to have, say, 10,000 subscribers or 100,000 subscribers, then of course I would be able to raise a lot more money. That's what happens on these platforms. But activism isn't always about money. Activism can also be about being someone that you can be reached if someone needs you. That's something that I enjoy doing, is just being available. If someone needs to reach out, they can DM me on Twitter or just message me on my email. Activism can also be in forms of, protests and going out of your way to do things. My form of activism, because my body is absolutely shit after 15 years of factory work, is basically my YouTube channel. I like to keep people informed of various things that are going on, and I just try to talk about stuff. But there's no one way to do activism, and there's no one scope that is going to be fit all. If you were to expect a channel my size to raise $100,000 for charity, that's not going to happen. But a channel with 1 million subscribers, that's probably almost easy for someone like that to do. So keeping scope in mind is very important, and it's not always about money. There's a lot that goes into activism that has absolutely nothing to do with your ability to raise money. Your ability to raise awareness is very important as well. What do y'all think?
Yeah, I think as long as everyone does what they can, like what they're able to for certain things that they're passionate about, I think that we can try and push things forward, progress.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the thing that strikes me the most oddly about, especially the events that probably culminated this topic, is you don't have to be loud about your activism. That's not comfortable for some people. And so, don't think that you can judge somebody's level of activism by their Twitter feed. Right? That's just ridiculous. If all you know of somebody is their presence on Twitter or YouTube, you don't know that much about them. And so if you're going to say, well, you're not doing enough for these communities, you just don't have the information. Maybe they're not, but maybe they've done way more than anybody else has, and they just don't put it out there because they're not comfortable with it. And so don't police other people's activism. That's silly.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people that we know that Twitter is the only way that they can participate in their activism because they have disabilities, or they can't even. A lot of us have stress and we can't leave our houses because we have agoraphobia, so or other disabilities. So come on, you can't. It just seems like whenever some people get a slight bit of criticism, they make all kinds of assumptions about the person who is giving them critique, and that's not very helpful, especially if you have essentially the same goals. I think as long as you're not hurting people, then there's no use in like gatekeeping the activism.
Well, and I would add on just something there for those that always want to bring up, something big and flashy and they'll hold in front of people with their activism. And that's kind of it. Yeah, you did some good stuff with it, but it feels kind of weird that you're kind of flouting this or taunting people with it. Things are what you do, and that makes you special about doing all this other stuff where, like Evan said, the ones that don't talk about it, they're still going out and doing it, are doing just as much. And it's not like, hey, I'm great for doing this, and you're not doing it, so screw you.
So
right? That's the kind of attitude I don't like.
Like for me, the stuff that I've done, I don't tend to just toss out a lot because I don't really think of it as stuff that I've done. Like if I run a fundraiser on my channel for somebody, it's my subscribers that have done the majority of the work. And it's not anything that, like, it's not something that I think I should flaunt. Like, hey, I was able to get my subscribers to pay money to do something. And it's like Evan said, I don't like to I just don't like the flashy style. The situation that we're referring to right now, not to get too many details, but I was doing a lot of the behind the scenes work as well. There were stuff that needed reported and I reported it. And I did a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, but there was a outward showing on Twitter that I felt was really juvenile. And I felt it was counter to what the stated goals were. And I did not take place in that. And for that, myself and others here were bashed for not doing this simple, weird, juvenile Twitter thing.
Yeah.
And so, you don't know what people are doing. You don't know. And I've seen people get bashed for not giving money to GoFundMes when they actually had given money to GoFundMes.
Yeah.
People don't seem to understand that there's a lot of people on these sites that want to keep themselves anonymous. So they give to a GoFundMe, but they keep their name unchecked. And so then it's not going to show up in the public donations that you can read through. But they may have already given money. They may have given a huge deal of money. But you won't know it because it's an anonymous donation.
And a lot of the people that do this, they accuse you of like virtue signaling or whatever. It's ridiculous. And when it comes to activism, it's not about the person doing the activism. It's about the goals that you want to achieve. It's not about you. Like, get over yourself.
Well, and what's really funny about that is if it has to be outward, that's a massive virtue signal.
Yeah, I was just gonna hop in and say that after that. That's all it's for. Like, many of the people in this group, many of the smaller people, the followers on, all they did was the thing in their avatars and stuff like that. That was it. That was the extent of anything they did.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, that doesn't really do anything.
No.
Yeah.
You weren't involved. You weren't involved in like reporting the channels or trying to get things out to like news organizations so make people aware of it or anything like that. It was, hey, I got this thing in my thing. Look at me, I'm so great.
Yeah, I got a pumpkin emoji and some sex jokes. Yay. Hashtag, what were you going to say?
Oh, that's a really good question. I think, I was going to say, like, as far as the donating money thing, and especially with money and with time, it should always be up to the person. You don't know what's going on in their life. They might not even be able to afford food at that point. So giving to a charity, they can't really do that. So they might pass it on. So I just don't think it's up to people to be like, oh, well, let me see your bank account and how much you could have given, and you should give all of that. it's their choice.
That's weird.
Speaking of money given, New You gave a donation and said, I got called a Russian spy because I said the phrase "speak oil." Also, this is now out of context because I had to set this up. So I like that.
Thank you for your donation, no you.
But no, back to the giving money. One thing that people don't realize a lot of times is, especially if you're a YouTuber that has done donations or that has run like GoFundMe drives for other people, there's only so many of those that your subscribers will take.
Mhm.
And you have, each time you do one, you have to have a cooldown period until you can do the next one. So I've had people come to me and say, hey, I saw that you did such and such for this person over here. Can you run something this week for this thing? And I'm not trying to be rude, but I have to say no because it's just too soon.
Yeah.
There's like, I have done that in the past, and you have one really successful fundraiser, and then you have one fundraiser that you feel really shitty about because you don't raise any money.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's just something that like people need to understand. You can't constantly be doing that stuff. Or else people will they'll tune out. They'll stop caring.
I mean, I'm not opposed to, sharing the link to the GoFundMe or whatever and let it out and let people know that there is there. But yeah, the big fundraising stuff like that, you can only do it so much. Like that, trying to do it all at once kind of thing. So.
Don't gatekeep activism, y'all.
Yep.
Nope. And if someone has a slight issue with your activism, but still says that they're proud of what was accomplished, don't be a dick.
Yeah, and a lot of us have lives. Like sometimes things in life are kind of a crisis. You got to deal with it. And you just can't do the activism, but you do allow some time to be an activist. And that counts. That's not meaningless. Well,
and it's the I know we're getting little more abstract with the philosophy and stuff on it, but that's the console odd implies can. So there's things that there's almost nothing we can do about it, and people try to hold that as like a gotcha, as like more stuff. It's like, no, we're not. We can't do anything about this particular instance. Where we can do things, we'll do it, but where you can't, you can't.
Right.
So you're not morally responsible for that, and you shouldn't be made to feel, morally bad about it because you couldn't,
What do you think, Dallas?
I'm not much of an activist like on Twitter and stuff because I don't feel like I communicate the best on certain topics, but like I'm definitely active like in my little circle in North Alabama. And I've made an impact on a lot of people, but I feel like you guys are better with certain subjects. Like I'm not familiar with all the language and stuff, but I do what I can in like my little area. And I think a lot of people are probably that way.
I agree. I think that there are people that do a lot of activism in their local areas and don't really see social media as an arena where they can really do much.
Yeah.
Right. I think like all you can do is the best you can do.
Yeah.
You expect other people to go beyond their best is just like ludicrous.
Oh yeah.
Rhetoric.
Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Rhetoric had brought up, can y'all talk on the criticism shield? I have donated X amount of money. I can therefore not be criticized for my behavior.
Oh.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's completely asinine, and it's one of the absolute worst offenses for anything I have ever seen. But it happens on social media all the time. And all it reminds me of is when you would have remember back in the 90s when a celebrity would get caught with drugs, and then all of a sudden they would have a commercial where they're, hey kids, it's not cool to do drugs. And then it was like, I did that commercial. Now you can't bring it up.
Yeah.
That doesn't work that way. There are people that give loads of money that I think are kind of shitty people.
Yeah.
There's a
Oh
certain
yeah.
there's a certain philanthropist, if you want to call that has backed a buttload of atheist channels over the last several years, and they're an absolutely awful human being.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And I don't care, Jonathan. Yeah, you are an awful human being, and no matter how much money you give to anything, it doesn't make you less awful.
Yeah, I don't want your donations or support. Thanks. You're a shit human being, Jonathan. Just saying.
Mhm.
And it's yeah. It's like people, especially whenever it comes to this, they've like Rhetoric and Discourse said, it's like it's a shield, right? If I give this much money, then somehow it redeems my bad behavior, and like that's not the way that it works. You know, you can't pay your way out of your sins, right? Like, just it blows my mind.
Yeah, and all it really is I have a black friend, so I can't be racist.
Right.
It's just a different version of that.
Well, and what I'd add to that, if you really wanted to buy yourself out of some of the more egregious sins, it's going to take a lot more than what you're holding up and saying, "Oh, I raised like $3,000." It's a good chunk of money, but I mean, the other stuff that you were involved with, if you're going to take just purely consequentialist stuff and just weigh and measure, all the good and bad outcomes, you're still coming out in the negative there. Your accounting's still bad.
Well, I'll relate it to the Cosby situation. Cosby gave shit tons of money to charities and did a whole lot of good with that money. Cosby's still a shit human being. We have learned so much over the last several years. No matter how much money Cosby gave throughout his life, it doesn't take away from the fact that money did good, but it doesn't. Yeah. Money doesn't make someone a good person.
Right.
Right. I just mean, there's things that was done that was a lot more involved, and and a lot of people we ended up on the side, calling them out, and we've kind of been cast out because of it.
Yep.
Because we're like, hey, this here you did, you authored, all sorts of defenses for this big bad stuff here, and then when it comes like, oh, this bad stuff you said was going to be fixed didn't get fixed, and we're done with it. It's drama. I gave 3,000 here. I'm perfectly fine. It's it's.
Yep. The response videos we promised we would make, we're not going to do because we raised money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Because I mean, how dare us rock the boat? In our in group.
Well, I mean, it's almost like there's a segment that actually cares about the harm and the positive utility that's done, and another segment that just cares about how they look. Right. And I hate to boil it down like that, but I mean, essentially that's what it boils down to, right? If you're on Twitter constantly bragging about how much money you raise for X charity, but you're actively causing harm in another domain, like, I don't have anything for you. I mean, it's just, I'm done. Right. I care about the harm, not the yeah, I mean, $3,000 is a good chunk of change. Is it going to cover somebody's college tuition? No. Like, get real. Is it going to reverse the harm that you've done? Absolutely not. Just talk to some of the people that were involved, right? No amount of money can make up for that. You can't pay your way out of that sort of abuse, period.
Agreed. And like, if you're paying money out of one hand, or if you're talking about the money that you raised out of one side of your mouth, out of the other side of the mouth, you're talking about the drama starters who were defending their rights. It's not a good look either.
No, it's not.
Well, I just got one more thing. It just brought up from years ago, but I remember.
You go, Red.
Yeah, I remember tying this and weaponizing that kind of stuff. That way, you can see it real bad when you look at some of the stuff like TJ's done, the Amazing Atheist, over the years with his fundraisers and how he kind of lords that over people he criticizes had. Everybody can point and see, yeah, that's kind of that's bullshit. That's terrible. But with other people, it's they just don't recognize it.
Well, wasn't there? In the back of my mind, I am thinking there was a comedian that a white comedian that raised a bunch of money for some kind of inner city cause. And on stage, they were talking about it, and then they said, well, I guess that means I can say, and they dropped the N-bomb. And it didn't work out for them. It was a bad idea. It doesn't take, raising money is never going to take away from a shitty thing you did.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of, what do they call them? Catholicism indulgences?
Yes.
I think it's
it's the same thing.
the same
Well,
thing.
That's exactly what that is.
And
That's where you get paid to absolve your sins.
I want to go back to the last topic before we move on to this next one, because that is exactly what this is like.
Yeah.
Because the
You're
Catholic
paying money
Church,
to
I'm not even going to indulgences. It is the Catholic Church. Anytime there's a scandal, they give a huge donation to something. And then they'll say, well, I don't know why we're still talking about this. We want to be talking about this donation that we gave to the children of Rwanda or whatever country. And it's like a distraction trick. Like you can't see the bad I did for the good I did over here.
Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
Yes.
Pretty much. And one more thing about this topic. See, when it comes to the shield thing, I think it's more than just, I donated the money, therefore I can be absolved of something. I think the dynamic here that we're looking at is in-group, out-group situation, where you have a bunch of atheist creators doing a thing and then other atheists coming out and criticizing that thing, and they're not in the group. Therefore, they must be nefarious. And it's very tribalistic. So I think that is a lot of the shielding. They're my friend, therefore I'm going to defend them and shield them. So,
right.
Yeah. So, Evans, you're up next. I don't know if you want to read the article or just briefly touch on this.
Yeah, I'll read through it. It's a short article anyway.
Okay.
So, Alabama, GOP, roll tide. Alabama Republicans are pushing for a controversial Minnesota representative to be removed from Congress. A resolution passed last weekend at the GOP summer meeting in Auburn, there's their first problem, called for Alabama's elected congressional delegation to proceed with the expulsion process for Ilhan Omar, a first-term Democratic representative and one of the first two Muslim women elected to the House. Omar has been criticized for her comments about Israel and America's long-term support for its ally. Representative Omar has engaged in rhetoric that explicitly runs counter to American values and patriotism by falsely accusing U.S. armed forces of committing war crimes. Falsely accusing. While on a mission to liberate her home country of Somalia. The resolution noted, adding Omar also dismissed the 9/11 terror attacks and sympathized with convicted terrorists by advocating for sentencing leniency. Omar has a disturbing record of using anti-Semitic language that includes alleging Jewish money is used to buy American influence, regarding its policy towards Israel. The resolution continued. The committee passed the resolution on a vote after it was proposed by State Representative Tommy Haynes of Scottsboro. All right, so, I mean, really don't want to go into Omar because I think that Omar is a mixed bag. But what I will say about her is she was democratically elected.
Yeah.
Right? She was democratically elected. Are her statements and things like that egregious enough to warrant expulsion from Congress? I don't think so. Right? And these are things that, and maybe there's different opinions about that, right? But the sheer amount of hypocrisy coming out of the GOP, and Omar fired back well, in my opinion, by pointing out that, you know, these are the same fucking people that put Roy Moore up for election in the Senate.
Yep.
Right? I mean, can you imagine criticizing being the people that said, hey, Roy Moore would be a great idea, then turn around and criticizing somebody for saying something anti-Semitic, right? This is ridiculous. And it further reinforces the notion we don't care about the Constitution. We don't care, or the Republican Party, the GOP, especially here in Alabama, don't care about American values, about the things that the founding fathers set up, about the Constitution, about fair elections, any of that. It's religious bigotry, right? They want to get rid of this lady because she's a Muslim. That's essentially what it boils down to. You talk to any of these people, and they've realized now, because they've got their hand slapped on it, that they can't say, oh, she's a Muslim, so she doesn't belong in Congress, because of that pesky, you know, there shall be no religious test for office. So now they're shifting like, oh, well, her values don't align with American values. And like, that's just bullshit, right? You have a president that, I mean, his highest approval rating is in this state, right? And he is a million times worse than Omar ever thought about being, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. And I've had it up to here with the hypocrisy of the Alabama Republicans. It's ludicrous.
I'm glad you... Holy crap. I have read through this story and thought this is just awful, but I hadn't made the connection between Roy Moore and this story.
Yeah.
Like
and Kay Ivey, right? This is the same GOP, right? We passed a freaking gas tax in a week that is hurting the already poverty-stricken state, stretching it, and none of that money will go towards infrastructure. It'll all go in corrupt politicians' pockets. You have a freaking governor that did blackface, right, and is now coming under heat for that. And all of the other absurd shit that Kay Ivey's done, you know, like her famous statement, well, I believe the victims of Roy Moore, but I'm still going to vote for him because he's not a Democrat, right? This is the governor that they tout so readily. And then you have freaking Mo Brooks and, you know, all Jeff Sessions is from here, GOP, things like that. Like all of the abhorrent, terrible, vile, racist sacks of human garbage that they actively promote as being, you know, true blue Americans. And then they want to take some arguably problematic things that a congresswoman has said and said, oh, she needs to be expelled from office for it. Like, fuck off with that. Well, clean up your own house before you start talking about others.
What the hell are American values?
Well, it's Jesus and loving your mama and sweet tea.
And the right to bear arms.
Yeah, there you go.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Was someone saying something there? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't know Omar's whole history. I probably should. I'm from Minnesota, but some of the stuff, the big ones I know that they're complaining about, are really twisted and turned around really bad. Like if they're gonna go sit up and defend the grab them by the pussy comments, you know, those are far worse, even in context, than a lot of the things they're saying. Like the 9/11 thing was not necessarily dismissing what goes on, but it was a quick kind of, hey, somebody over here did this, now we as a group got to lose our rights. And it's like, you know, that's not right. You know, it shouldn't be that way, right? So it would be take you know, say if this happened, put like a Japanese American after during World War II, Pearl Harbor and stuff like that, would come out and say the same thing about Pearl Harbor being bombed. I mean, it's not saying that that shit that happened isn't bad, but it's, you're using that to justify taking our rights away. You know, there was that one. There was, what were the other ones in there? I don't remember, and I don't have the article open.
So,
but yeah, there's a couple other ones. Oh, the Jewish money thing. You know, there's plenty of foreign governments that lobby for it here. I mean, they're the ones, I think they're right. Didn't they come out and criticize Clinton's arms deal with Saudi Arabia?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the progressives did.
But it's like Saudi Arabia gave a shit ton of money to the Clintons and stuff, and nobody's going to they're not going to step away and say, hey, well, that's Islamophobic. Like they're going to use the anti-Semitism thing. It's just a way to beat somebody into the ground.
Yeah.
It is. And as far as Omar is concerned, on my own opinion, like Evans, there's some stuff that I think she has a lot of hot takes.
Yeah.
And there's times I'm like, oh, she shouldn't have said that. At the same time, like, I've had a lot of hot takes.
Yeah,
me too.
Hasn't said a bunch of stupid shit.
Like if you're going for American values, isn't the ability to say stupid shit one of our values?
It is, unless you're a Muslim.
Yeah,
that's exactly the way that. I mean, look, I live here, right? I know a bunch of Alabama Republicans. Like, the only reason that they're not, crying for her head is because they realize that they can't do that. It's this. I mean, this is the same party that is over and over and over again wasted taxpayer dollars putting 10 Commandment monuments up. Yep. Right? How many hundreds of thousands of dollars are thrown down the toilet every time some jackass decides to put up 10 Commandment monuments, even though it's been ruled over and over and over again. Like, this is purely racism and religious bigotry.
Yeah.
And I think
there's no other way to do it. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, I think this has a lot to do with also the Trump effect. They're coalescing around the rhetoric that he's had toward these 4 specific women in Congress, and they're kind of rallying around, showing the support. We're backing Trump 100%. Trump's the leader of the party. We're going to do whatever it is in line with his racism. At least that's kind of the way I see it. It seems like these sentiments are growing significantly. Like, we have the data's in, folks. There's an uptick in racism being displayed, and sometimes often violently displayed in this country. And I think it boils down to not only the sentiments that people are feeling that are racist themselves, but also the fact that they have a leader of a party who is openly racist. It emboldens them.
Well, and on top of that, so the situation with these 4, it's the fact that they don't back down.
Exactly.
When Trump calls them out, they talk back, and they throw it back as hard as he threw it initially. And so, since they can't shut these people up, or since they can't get the response that they would get from, say, Nancy Pelosi, who would say, well, I really didn't like when he said that, but we should just go on and they don't get the same reaction. These people actually fight back, and so obviously they have to be removed. It's a cornerstone of our American values to remove democratically elected people from office.
Well, especially if they're nasty women, right?
Yeah.
They won't back down whenever, Big Daddy tells them to. I don't know. That's just kind of the way I see it. All right. Anything else, guys? Y'all?
Alabama, the state that wanted to take away abortions and make them completely illegal.
Oh my God.
Like Georgia faced jail time, is the one to tell us what American values are.
Yeah, I am gonna say this. Y'all folks in Alabama, y'all keep fighting, because we got a lot of work to do.
It's a losing battle right now.
Yeah.
It's the same state where people won't walk in a gas station if it's run by, an Indian or somebody else. It's just ridiculous. Everything I've ever voted for in Alabama has not passed. Like, I voted for Walt Maddox. He didn't have a chance.
Doug Jones was the first countercurrent vote that I cast.
Right. Yeah, I did vote for Doug Jones.
That was like, and that was the margin that he won by is absolutely embarrassing. Like, congratulations that we did it, but right, like, it's ridiculous.
Well,
Mhm.
wasn't
And that's another thing too. Like, part of getting back to the activism thing, like if you live in Alabama or any state where this kind of bullshit is happening, it's all the more important to, talk about this stuff and
vote?
yeah, and
Yeah.
that way get people excited to go out and vote so you can have more support for the things that
Yeah.
are good for your state.
I think the most important thing is actually getting out and talking to people, having personal conversations with people. Because I know I've had a large impact in a small area, and there will be a ripple effect. And
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, and
know,
especially, I mean, there are a lot of people that are in maybe this is going to be the same for Dallas's experience, but especially in my generation, that are significantly more receptive. Now, you have jackasses that are just true blue freaking idiots, but for the most part, if you sit down and you explain something to somebody, and I hate to say this, but it is going to be a waiting game in Alabama, right? There is a certain demographic that is not going to change their mind on anything, but in 20 years, we might see some actual change go on here. And the other thing is the more manufacturing facilities and things like that we get, bring in people from other states. And so you can see, especially where like large automobile facilities have opened up and things like that, the city governments there are starting to flip blue because they have to import a lot of people, and people have an impact. And so, the more, especially in North Alabama, things are starting very slowly, but you see more than like down here in South Alabama. And so it does make a difference, right? The bigger the cities get, the more blue they turn. And that's
true.
The data bears that out.
That's good. That there's hope for progress. And
and what we're doing right here is also activism in terms of that, because if you're a kid growing up in Alabama, you probably don't have very many progressive voices, and yet we have a show here where we're talking about this with two people from Alabama that are definitely blue, and they're not putting up with it. They're using their vote and using their voice, and it's going to be important in future generations.
Yep, we're not gonna take it.
No, ain't gonna take it.
All right. So, anything else on this, guys, or y'all?
I plan on running in a few years for something. I'm not sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do it.
I'll support you, Dallas.
Thank you.
Now, do you have a private email server? Because if you do, get rid of it.
Not her email.
Oh, all right. So we're going to be moving on to Red's topic on the Trump tariffs. I don't know if you want to just kind of briefly go over what it is or read the article, but whatever you're comfortable with, Red.
All right. Let me pull it up. So we got tonight at midnight, Trump's the first half of Trump's new tariffs go into effect, and they're going to affect a lot of consumer goods.
Oh, but he said no, that's not going to happen.
No. So what we have in the article, we're going to see TVs, diapers, a whole bunch of just consumer products. Shoes are up on the list. There's a 15% tariff going into effect at midnight, so it's going to hit us hard here. And it does. The article doesn't say. Yeah, it does here. So, and then we got another one going on December 15th. Is going to be the second half, to which 97% of all products from China will have tariffs on them right during the holiday season. So it's going to hit us hard. So hopefully it pisses off enough people and Trump's gone in 2020. But
hopefully,
but I mean, the biggest shopping time of the year, and everything's going to get way more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but like I said, he said it's not going to happen because Trump is a stable genius and knows all things about the economy, and he knows that that China is just going to eat these tariffs, and it's not going to have any effect on the American consumer, except that's contrary to absolutely everything in terms of economics.
Wow, like I'm blown away. The official list it says in the article, the official list of affected items run 114 single space pages long. That's
Wow.
a lot. That's a
Yeah.
whole lot.
Well, the good news is, y'all, the Bibles aren't being taxed.
Oh, good.
We ain't tariffing the Bibles because, you know, that's Christianity needs more money, and we can't have our cheap Bibles, our China-made Bibles, going anywhere. So praise Jesus.
Well, I would think you'd be able to do a 10% tariff on a Bible.
That's Jesus's percents.
Oh, so they're giving it to Jesus.
No. If you can't give it, you got to give that 10% to Jesus. You can't tariff that 10% because then Jesus don't get it.
Here's the deal. Basically everything that you buy is going to be more expensive.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
Which is just awesome.
Just in time for the holidays.
Even parts for things that need to be assembled that you would buy. It's just going to cost more and more. Just it gets exponentially worse.
Merry Christmas, poor GOP voters that have probably lost their jobs since none of the factory jobs have stayed.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'm just curious as to how all these broke Republican, Southerners are going to react to this. Because on one hand, like, they suck Trump's dick, but on the other hand, like, most of these people are dirt poor. I don't know.
Well, I know for a fact that not poor broke Southerners, but poor broke farmers are turning on Trump.
Yeah.
Not happy.
I think that it's, and this has been my experience with the people that I circulate with, that are poor broke Republicans. Everybody here is, once you explain like what's going on, right, then like a switch clicks. I had this recently. I was talking to a guy, and he was all about how great Trump was, and I was like, yeah, but what about them tariffs that are coming up? Well, they don't understand, right? They're not informed on these things. And whenever I explained, hey, Trump has ordered these tariffs, this is going to cause this to go up, it may be endangering your job, yada, yada, yada. It was like, well, that's not very smart. Why would he do that? And it's like, because he's not very smart, right?
Well, no.
I think that's especially if you're in a red state and if you're in a place anywhere, but especially if you're in poor broke, like, these are things that we need to be constantly talking about and raising awareness, because people aren't going to understand, right? And I gave this example before, but like, whenever the first round of tariffs hit Mexico, or the trade war started to escalate with Mexico, I was standing next to a dude in Walmart who was commented on the price of Corona, right? And it was like, a 12-pack of Corona went up by $3 or $4. And his comment was something like, oh my God, why is the Corona so expensive? It wasn't like this the other day. And my comment was, well, thanks to Trump. He's ramping up he's talking about tariffs, he's disrupting the economy, like that. And it was like, really? What is that why I did? We got to raise awareness, right?
Definitely.
Because if you don't follow this, you don't know. It's just all of a sudden now diapers cost $3 more. And everything, all these consumer products go up, and, all the people that are ignorant on these things are just going to go, oh, well, price of everything's just getting higher. And, but there's reasons that it happened. Right?
Not even making the connection. It is important to point these things out, because people don't seem to realize just what kind of real life impact this has. I think it's the election is some abstract thing that won't affect them. Bullshit. One thing I wanted to comment on as I was going through this article is Trump not only did this tariff shit, which is a disaster, of course, but he's also saying that the companies that are complaining about the tariffs and having issues financially he's blaming them. He's saying that they're badly run and weak companies.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is the I don't know if you saw the it's another side note, but they did a study, and so Trump's touting 13% are leaving China, and that's not what the study is. It says 87% aren't leaving.
Yeah.
Good work.
13%, and that's like Trump promoted that he's working on a new trade deal with Japan for agricultural goods in the U.S. Japan has, I think, 1/10 the population that China does, and I don't know if you look at Japan,
They don't. I
Japan
don't think they have the.
doesn't have a lot of like farmland for cattle.
Yeah, that's not. It's.
Not going to happen.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we export is food for cattle and things, right?
Yeah.
It's a large
Oh
chunk
yeah.
of
Feed corn, soybeans, things like that were top exports, and China's not buying it anymore. They're going with Russia and other countries. And it's awful. And okay, so one of the effects of this that I don't think people realize is, even so, let's say these tariffs go into effect, and the ones in December go into effect, and then in February they take these tariffs away. That does not mean that prices go back to what they were pre-tariffs.
Right.
No.
That means that companies are now able to try and earn back some of the lost profit that they didn't have. And they're also going to go, okay, well, people have gotten used to it at this price.
Right.
We're just going to keep it here. And
Yeah, and nothing, right? None of that makes up, even all that makes up for the loss and that we're going to suffer in GDP and compounding gains and things like that. Like these, whenever you tank an economy like this, the lasting ramifications that it has are so much broader than people understand, because of effects like, just a slight increase in your percentage of GDP and overall wealth generation has a compounding effect, if you look at it over the years, that is massively positive. And guess what? If it goes the opposite way, that's potential positive that we lose out on.
Yeah.
And you're looking at billions and billions and billions of dollars, trillions.
Yeah.
30 plus years of farmers and the U.S. government working with China and setting up these deals gone in a matter of a couple of months. And it's not going to come back. Like it'll come back eventually, but it's not going to be an overnight thing. Like farmers can't instantly go out and plant a crop as soon as the tariffs are done and get it over to them. You're talking about years.
Yep.
What were you going to say, Red?
Oh yeah, I was just going to add on to the compounding effect. So you lose, however 2-3% of your GDP, and then when you grow 5% later, well, you're down the 2-3%, so you're not growing anymore there. So that's the big effect.
Yeah.
Just trying to put it in simple terms, and how that, the going back just fucks you even more.
So, okay. So I know the major ones are going into effect tomorrow, and then others are going into effect December 15th.
Yeah.
So you might be thinking to yourself, well, I'll just make that big purchase today and get that out of the way. The companies have already started preparing for this.
Yep.
When Trump announced the first tariffs, steel prices went through the roof. And it wasn't for like 3 months when they actually went into effect.
And those are getting bumped up on October 1st to 30%.
Yep.
It's just
yes,
so.
I would like to say to Maggie Murphy in the chat, who is on their way to work, talking about these things when they come up with friends and neighbors is political activism. It definitely is.
Yes, 100%.
Very much. I mean, there's a lot of, when they talk about, the factory workers and the Rust Belt stuff that got hurt and went and voted for him. I work in a factory, so I know a lot of these guys. They want what's good for themselves, but they just don't. It's hard for them to understand what it is that's going to work for them or how things actually work. They just think it's like, well, you can do this and it'll be this and be fine and all this other stuff. It's like, it's not how economics works. That's not how any of this stuff works.
Nope. And okay, so like if you're talking with, we don't have very many around here because we're not a coal producing area. But if you're in a coal producing area and people are wondering why they don't have these jobs that Trump promised would be coming back, you can talk to them and tell them that coal's not going to come back. But here's the
that's dying.
Here's the jobs that we missed out on having Trump in office.
Yep.
Because there would be millions of clean energy jobs that could be put into effect tomorrow. People could start working on this stuff if you had someone that would do it. But we've got
and
Trump.
we could have been ahead. We could have been world leaders. There's a Potholer 54 video. He went over the history and stuff I wasn't aware of because I wasn't alive. But had we taken up green tech and started investing in that in the late 70s, when Carter put was it solar panels on the White House?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reagan came in, just stripped them down and went back to gas, oil, and coal and stuff. It's like, had we focused on that, we'd be way ahead.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
With the new manufacturing stuff there, 40 years ago.
Well, I mean, we still could. Like,
we still could, but I mean, China's really building up.
Oh, yeah.
Building up that for 20 years, 25 years now.
Yeah.
So we're behind the 8 ball on it. We could still get there, but yeah, we lost a lot of potential market.
Well, and even look at electric cars. They were put forth in, I want to say, like the teens or 20s of 1900, but because of big oil, they were like, no, we're not gonna put money and effort into making these electric cars. We're gonna go with the gas ones.
It is kind of mind-boggling, the technology that has become kind of a norm, like electronic cars and other types of engines that there were already plans for at the turn of the 20th century. But it was just like, no, we ain't going to do it. And at that time, people are going to say they didn't have the information that we have now about pollutants or anything along those lines.
It's not that. It took a long time for people to actually realize that, hey, and it took a lot of fighting for getting what we have now.
Well, yeah, and like even the prep for like the climate change stuff. I mean, we knew that at the early 20th century.
Yep.
Pretty well aware of all that stuff coming. But this happens quite a bit to a lot of advancements in history, like anesthesia, for example. Took forever to take off, compared to, I forget what are the other things that took off right away and were in the fads and the medical stuff, because it's just not, it's where the money is and where stuff is put and,
Oh, yeah. One of the also major issues that we still face is current generation apathy. I make jokes sometimes about how as long as the Earth's still around for myself and my grandkids, fuck my great grandkids. I make jokes like that, but that's actually seriously the mindset of a lot of people.
Yeah,
it's not going to have any devastating effect for like 50 years. So I hear people all the time say, I live in the Midwest. I don't live on a coastal region, so they can move.
Yeah, well, it's not that. So this is the funny thing for all the people that bitch about maybe bringing in carbon taxes and stuff. Like, everything's going to cost more, everything's and stuff there. It's like, you're paying for it regardless. I mean, coastal cities in the U.S. are spending millions of taxpayer dollars in preparation for rising sea levels and how to deal with it.
Yep.
You're paying for it. You just don't recognize that you're paying for it.
Yep.
Everybody should go buy and read Tyler Cowen's Stubborn Attachments book, because he lays out a system of economics that he calls Wealth Plus, that is a temporal view of economics that takes into factors like if we can get ahead on the technology, if we can do these things. And it also takes in, he lays out a case for a utilitarian way of looking at future generations' utility should count just as much as current generations' utility. And so if we're looking at what is the moral thing to do, then we have to take into account all of the future generations that are either going to suffer or benefit from the things that we do now. And so if you're looking at being the most moral that you can, then you have to take into consideration your grandkids, your great grandkids, all of those people, and you can start to build a picture And it's a really good book. It's really thought provoking, and it very, very well. It establishes a workable plan that even people like us can take part in for the exact issues that we're talking about now.
Yeah.
There are
That's
things I
awesome.
don't agree with it on, but overall, it's really thought provoking, and it's the culmination of this guy's life work, and he's an award-winning economist. So,
Good stuff.
Awesome.
And I want to go back and make a correction. Something I said. It was sterilization, not anesthesia.
Oh.
That took forever to take off. The anesthesia took off right away because you don't feel it, the painful, especially
Surgery,
with
yeah.
the tools and stuff they were using.
Yeah.
But the sterilization is much more important.
Yeah.
The tools.
Yeah.
Oh boy, I tell you.
Well, even germ theory didn't take off. Like the guy who
No.
thought of it was completely ridiculed and made fun of in the medical community.
Mm-hmm.
no, I don't think germs are real anyway. That Fox News host told me that he didn't wash his hands because he couldn't see the germs.
Right? Oh my god.
Oh, you're gonna have to send me that clip. I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about? Dude said it on live TV.
Yes.
And
He said-
he has a female co-host that just kind of
Yeah. He said that he hadn't washed his hands in 5 years, that he didn't believe in germs because he couldn't see them.
Oh my god.
Right?
On Fox News, y'all. Imagine
it's too bad
that.
It's too bad I have too much integrity not to sell myself to that stupid stuff.
Yep.
Oh, I could make so much money just being a dumb idiot on there. I could do it better too because I know what I'm saying is stupid.
Right?
I could go full no bullshit and do it so much better and defend no bullshit stuff so much better than what he does. And
like the quartering.
or the quarter, yeah.
All you have to do is a woman was mentioned in this article. Men are dead. They're killing all men.
Yep.
That's it. Men, they're gonna kill us. They're removing us from everything.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and then to go on to somebody else's stream and say, yeah, I don't, admit I don't believe any of this stuff. I just tell my fans what they want to hear.
Yep.
600,000 subs, millions of views a month.
That's so disgusting.
yeah.
Like, how? I just.
This phrase is from somewhere, but I don't know the source. But people just want to be lied to. They want to be,
Yeah, it sounds like something Barnum would say.
It's sad, but it's really true.
It is.
It is. It's
all right. So, anything else on this topic?
No, I'm good on that one.
All right. I guess we will go ahead and move on to hashtags topic. And this is wow. So I'm sure you'll want to read the article or do your thing. Do your thing.
So this is self-defense keychains are officially legal in Texas. No more jail or $4,000 in fines. The time has come, Texans, starting Sunday, September 1st, 2019, self-defense keychains will officially be legal. This includes brass knuckles, clubs, and self-defense wildcat keychains. Texas Governor Greg Abbott signed House Bill 446, the self-defense bill that legalizes the carrying of certain self-defense items, beginning September 1st, 2019. That's right, y'all. That $400,000 fine or threat of jail time is no longer on the table come autumn. The bill legalizes brass knuckles, clubs, and self-defense keychains. These terrifying keychains are made of plastic, mind you. They are particularly weapons of mass fury. Of course, anyone who's owned these keychains called them kitty keychains, as I did when I once owned one. Gave it up long ago to be a law-abiding citizen here in Texas. Per KSAT, the bill specifies that anyone who committed or commits an offense by carrying one of these weapons prior to the law change will still be held accountable for committing a crime. That means the fines, totaling around $4,000 or 1 year jail time, will still be applicable to all persons until September 1st. So don't go ordering kitty keychains for your friends in bulk just yet. How wonderful, y'all. A self-defense keychain primarily used by women will finally be legal. God forbid we take a low-impact way to practice self-defense. With the new law, it would be worth seeking out more robust forms of self-protection. I've been reading up on stun guns with LED lights and other Kubotans. They offer many self-defense weapons with LED flashlights and even flip-top style weapons alongside your standard brass knuckles. Texas legislatures, for the rest of the original story that follows, thank you for hearing us out. And then the original post that follows was published on August 24th of 2018 at 1 p.m. Once upon a time, I was on the hunt for a quality self-defense weapon. The self-defense tool had to be easily accessible, lightweight, and small enough to go unnoticed. When I came across the cat self-defense keychain, I thought it fit all of my needs. As a resident of Texas, however, I didn't realize that it was something that could land me in jail for at least a year. Here's why this seemingly harmless keychain can land you in serious trouble. Knuckles of any kind are illegal in Texas, brass knuckles or even cute cat keychain. The Texas Penal Code lists this under their weapons policies or Chapter 46. Here's the full text from the Texas Penal Code. Knuckles means any instrument that consists of finger rings or guards made of a hard substance that is designed, made, or adapted for the purpose of inflicting serious bodily injury or death by striking a person with a fist enclosed in the knuckles. Those pointed cat ear self-defense keychains are included in this definition as they are indeed adapted for the purpose of inflicting serious bodily injury or death by striking a person with a fist enclosed in the knuckles. And since that cute kitty keychain slides seamlessly over your index and middle fingers to rest on your knuckles, well, there's a little room for interpretation on the law. And then they cover photos of the keychains. So that's what they look like. So how do the animal self-defense keychains work? Basically, you stick your fingers inside and poke the pressure points into whatever is attacking you. The force from your fist and the sharp edges can pierce more than skin, and if used on the eyes, can certainly poke out an eyeball. Keychains can be self-defense products, am I right? They come in so many forms. One quick internet search will yield you hundreds of options. It seems to be the animal ones, though, causing the most trouble because they appear so innocent. Even Walmart sells kitty keychains made by My Kitty USA and a knockoff Brutus Bulldog self-defense version. It's interesting to note that Walmart files this key set under the category of women's bag charms and accessories. The penalty, why jail time or fine? The Martinez law firm in Houston explains the penalties for being caught with knuckles or the safety keychains in question. The government writes that it is an offense to knowingly and intentionally possess, manufacture, transport, or repair knuckles. This is typically regarded as a felony offense of the third degree. In some cases, the charge can be reduced to a Class A misdemeanor. That Class A misdemeanor can fetch you up to 1 year in jail, a fine of $4,000 in both. Why isn't this information about keychain weapons more well known? Fox 7 of Austin actually covered this story earlier this summer when the controversy began. Esme Carrega,
Who knows?
Discovered that the Travis County Sheriff's Office in downtown Austin was confiscating these keychains by what sounds like bundles every single day. Travis County Captain Craig Smith told Fox 7 that the self-defense keychains are mostly purchased by women as a way of protecting themselves in the event of an attack at night while in a parking lot, perhaps. He continued, they're buying it to take care of themselves in the event that they are attacked. It just blends into the keychain when you take a closer look. It's a novelty item. It looks like a cat. I saw some are cats, some are dogs, and even a pig. They're pretty sharp. It's a hard plastic. I saw some that are actually made out of metal, and it's not going to bend. It's not going to give. It's going to just penetrate the skin, the eyes, or whatever else. Once you got it in your hands, now there's a lot of force behind it that can inflict injury. The controversy then begins with Texas's fairly lax weapons laws compared to other states, particularly in the case of open carry and firearms ownership. This comparison, though, falls flat when you consider the detailed and intricate process one must go through to obtain a concealed carry license and even purchase a firearm. Another compliance issue at hand deals with the way the keychains are distributed. Because the keychains are sold online, hello free shipping, stores aren't required to confirm the shipping location against the state's knuckles law. That's on the consumer to check. While there are no calls to reform the law, South Carolina's solution to the brass knuckle debate could be worth emulating. The state allows the ownership of brass knuckles and knuckle-like items, but they are only illegal if they're used with the intention of committing a crime. This wouldn't be a terrible amendment to Texas's current law, but Texas isn't the only state that strictly outlaws knuckles. Here's a full list of states that have an outright ban. So California, Illinois, Michigan, Texas, and Vermont. So this actually does go on quite a bit, but mainly it's just that they're now legal in Texas.
My mind is blown that in Texas you can walk down the street with an AR-15 on your back.
Yep, but not one of these.
Not kitty things.
Yeah,
that is insane.
It's backward, right? It's Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I mean, some of these, like, I'll show you guys again. Some of these are really cute.
Yeah, they're cute. They're adorable.
They're very adorable. And look at the pretty colors. Oh, they're so shiny and glittery.
I just...
I love it.
I've never understood the bans against brass knuckles if we have such lax laws in terms of guns.
Yeah.
It's never made any sense to me. It's the same thing with like knives. Like most states have very strict laws on the type of knife you can carry.
Mm-hmm.
But guns, you filled out a paper. You're good.
Yeah, pretty much. And trying to get background checks. No, that's an infringement.
Do they even have like class recommendations in Texas? Like, do you have to take a firearms course for concealed carry?
No.
Nope.
Oh.
Nope. You can just get you a gun and you're good to go, I reckon.
Here.
Woo.
I'm not sure about Texas, but I don't think so.
Yeah, from my knowledge, you don't. And of course, it's been some time, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the same. There,
America, fuck yeah,
fuck yeah.
So, in terms of the brass knuckles or these, I know that before we started, we were discussing how, at least Evans was, how if you do put the keys in between the fingers and all that, you're more likely to injure yourself. What do you think of the design here? Do you think this would be safer? Or?
So I have for anybody that's not aware that it wasn't around, I do have a background in this sort of stuff. So I did martial arts for many years, taught it for several years, have taught women self-defense courses, have been involved with other people, a lot of this sort of stuff. The general rule of thumb is you don't use anything attached to your keys, right? If you're assailed by somebody, especially the old ball them up in your knuckles, that's just a really good way to screw your hand up, cut yourself up. You're not going to do that much damage to the person itself. Things that attach to your key ring, the problem with those is if you get blood all over your hands, they get slippery, or if you lodge it in somebody, then all of a sudden you don't have your keys. And what you want to be doing if you're in this situation is not killing your attacker. You want to get away. So the best thing that I can do to recommend, and it's terrible that we live in a world like this, but find a reputable women's self-defense course. If you're worried about things like this, enroll and take the training seriously, because they will teach you a lot of ways, ways to get out of bear hugs and ways to get out of, being, pushed down on the ground and things like that. They will also tell you things like don't use your keys as weapons, because even if you pull out your key and you stab the dude and you break your key off between his ribs, you have a problem, because now you can't get in the car and the person that's attacking you is really pissed off. And if you're souped up on adrenaline and things like that, you won't even feel kicked to the nuts and things like that. It's somebody that's done this. So, the best thing that I can recommend is many different companies make essentially what amount to self-defense pins, right? A pin is legal to carry everywhere, and you almost always have one on you anyway. It's not attached to your keys, wherever you keep your pin, pocket, wherever. And not only is a pin longer so it can do more damage, it doesn't matter if you leave it sticking out of a dude's neck, right? So they make, pins that you can write with, you use every day, that you can also, if you need to, stab somebody with. And so that would be my recommendation, because nowhere outlaws those.
So according to Evans, the pen really is mightier than the sword.
But I would never recommend anything that attached to your keys. You absolutely, and the logic is, well, you've already got your keys in your hand because you're walking out to your vehicle. And I get that logic, but you can retrain yourself that if that's something that you're worried about, I have my keys in one hand and I have my pen in the other. Right. And so, because you do not, no matter what happens, you don't want to lose your keys, because what you want to be doing is breaking away from the person that's attacking you, getting in your car and driving to safety.
So question for you, Evans. Let's say you're a law abiding citizen in Texas and you got your gun on your keychain.
Yeah. That's a terrible thing. and even like, okay, and I'll go on a brief tirade about the gun people. Like, look up the 21-foot rule, right? If you just think that, hey, because I've got my gun on me, I'm somehow safe, you don't know jack shit about anything, right? You know, it's ridiculous that mindset. Okay, and again, this goes back to women, you know, are encouraged to, we'll get you a concealed carry permit, or a concealed carry permit, get a concealed carry purse, or buy some of Tommy Lauren's tights where you can have your gun on you, right? That's bad advice unless you're very, very proficient with that firearm. It's better to carry something because, I mean, there's all sorts of things that go through your head whenever you're attacked, right? You have adrenal grip, you have muscle memory, you have your natural responses to threats. And unless you've actually trained your way through all of your natural responses, you're not reaching in your purse to get your gun. You're going to end up shooting yourself or getting killed before you can even get to your gun. But for the most part, everybody can use a pointy stick to jab somebody.
Yeah.
Right. That's easy. And so that would be my recommendation for anybody that's thinking, hey, I need a little bit of extra layer of defense.
And for that 21-foot rule, that's for people who are prepared for an attack coming.
Yep.
Most of the time, the would-be attacker is not going to say, I'm getting ready to come over at you.
Yep. No, and if you think, like, again, because this happened to me in training, because we would do live action drills with this stuff. And whenever I was told that, right, and I mean, we did close quarters firearm training, and I was pretty proficient with my firearm of choice. And I thought, 21 feet, get real. You're totally done for. Yeah, until they actually try it on you. And then you've been tackled and you haven't got it out of the holster yet. I mean, it happens. There are people that spend their lives training and doing and discovering these things, and you should listen to them, right? If you want to be serious about self-defense, then go with somebody that's serious about self-defense and listen to everything that they say and really focus on it, because typically these people know what they're talking about.
Oh, absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well said. I did have another topic planned, but we're kind of pressed for time, so I'm gonna go ahead and move on to hashtag second topic.
Sexton topic
about Gary Landrieu. Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know.
We're moving on to hashtag Sexton topic.
Sexton topic? I don't think so.
I don't think that this person.
Don't make it weird.
Maddie made it weird.
Well, that's what Snarky said.
So, right-wing Louisiana gubernatorial candidate drops N-bomb on local radio. A right-wing candidate for governor in Louisiana said the N-word on the local radio show on Wednesday. Gary Landrieu, a cousin of former New Orleans Mayor Mitch Landrieu, is running as an independent candidate for governor of Louisiana and has largely built his campaign around a right-wing platform of targeting undocumented immigrants in the state in order to force them to, quote, go back to where they're from, and of ensuring that Confederate statues in the state are protected. In 2012, Landrieu made headlines when he was arrested after police said he dragged a woman he was in a relationship with by her ponytail from his car.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so real stellar guy. On Wednesday's broadcast of The Right Chicks on New Orleans WGSO 990, Landrieu was the subject of an apparent prank call in which the caller blasted Landrieu as a piece of shit. The host and Landrieu reacted to the caller by taunting and chiding him for swearing on the radio. Ironic.
Yeah.
You know what growing up in a family of 10 means? You can't hurt my feelings because I don't have any, Landrieu said. You're entitled to your opinion. That's what makes America great. You're free to do what you want and say what you want and think of what you want. But you know what? I'm free to do and say what I want to do too. You do that to my face, you're going to get slapped in the mouth. Let me tell you, when I was a kid, we learned about protecting ourselves and defending ourselves because we were called a lot of ugly names as children, Landrieu said. As an 8-year-old, they called me, oh, there's the N-word lovers right there. The show host chided Landrieu for swearing on air. Hey, you can't curse, co-host Michelle Herstius said. Landrieu has run and lost multiple attempts for elected office. So, yeah.
Cat butt.
Yes, cat butt.
Hi, cat butt. So this guy's a piece of shit, right?
Yeah.
I was going to point it
Yeah.
out. Wellington already did, but when you were reading through that at first, you said a white wing candidacy.
Did I?
Yes,
What?
white.
Not
wing.
inaccurate though.
No,
Yeah.
not inaccurate.
Quite accurate.
Right wing.
This guy's scum.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's amazing. Like earlier in the side chat, it was mentioned that not all conservatives are bad, which I totally agree with. I know
yeah.
and love a lot of, conservatives that are in my family and, things like that. I don't agree with them, but I mean, they wouldn't do this, right? So, but it seems like more and more, this is this kind of behavior that we're seeing from the GOP. And it's been there for years, right? We had all kinds of horrible shit that happened with like Strom and, all the old guard GOP people. But like you would think we would progress, but it seems to just be getting worse when it comes to the GOP.
I mean, it's hard to progress when you're in the Southern strategy,
Yeah.
right? When your whole political strategy is to, pander and appeal to the racists, it's not. It's kind of hard to progress beyond that.
True.
Yeah.
Fair point. I just don't know. I mean, you have this, you have Roy Moore, you have, there's just, the list goes on and on. Arpaio, Sheriff Arpaio is apparently running again too. I mean, it's just.
Thank Jesus for pardons.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. God damn.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Former Sheriff Arpaio, who should be in current inmate Arpaio.
Yeah.
Definitely. He would definitely look better in orange. So yeah. Anything else on this? GOP sucks, y'all.
Yep.
This sucks. So we're gonna need, I think, another palate cleanser or what the fuck moment. I don't know.
Palate cleanser.
Palate cleansing. What the fuck? I found this video on Twitter, and it was, it's a thing. So we're gonna watch this. We're gonna see how everybody reacts to it. So yeah, we're putting a coin in there and being artistic and stuff.
Oh, sorry.
I imagine that took a lot of glue.
Right.
I don't know what is happening.
Hasn't done this though, right? I mean,
this is a normal thing people do.
Dropped my
this is a great way to hide your coins.
That thing, that wacky ass eggplant thing.
Wow.
Where's the chip?
Yep. So that's a thing.
Well, at least it didn't go where I thought it was going to go.
I know, right?
Apparently, in the last part, there's a chip in the molding somewhere. Greg just said that
Oh, we got to watch this. Watch
yeah.
for this chip in the molding.
Oh,
Yep, there it is.
Oh,
Uh,
they lied to us.
Oh yeah.
I can't. This is on Snarky's computer.
Oh,
What the hell?
yeah, but then it's gone.
Yeah, then it's gone.
Oh no, right there.
Oh, yeah,
I
it was there.
I have been lied to.
Right?
Oh, definitely.
My
Also,
brain.
just why?
that's a good catch there. I did when I first watched it. I thought that can't be the same panel because that looks brand new.
Right? It doesn't even look touched at the end.
Yeah, it's just perfect right there.
No, don't
Yes,
tell
all
me
of that was a lie.
TikTok users aren't to be trusted.
See, this
Well,
is
obviously, they're using TikTok.
that's a totally different panel from that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's even kind of a different color.
Yeah, there's a different finish.
Everything you love is a lie.
Lies!
It's still a weird video. Like,
Yeah,
why?
It really is. Yeah,
Greg.
that was my question too. I'm like, well, that's cool and all, but
Yeah.
you just have one coin somewhere that you
What
want
are you doing, Snarky?
I'm scrolling through here and looking at the reactions.
Blasting all kinds of people's names.
They're Twitter names. It's not their real name.
public.
I know. I'm just messing with you, Snarky.
Ay.
So yeah, I guess this is a good place to end. What do y'all think?
What? I have my second topic.
You have a second topic?
Yes.
Okay, well, on with it. I don't know what it is.
Jesus McChrist, Snarky.
It's the next one over, I think.
The Straight Pride Parade.
Yes. No, that's not it.
I don't have anything else in the lineup.
So just go back to the activism picture.
Okay, we'll do.
There you
Activism.
go. All right, so after many years, finally, someone has thought of the straight white people. And I say straight white people because these straight pride parades are fucking racist as hell. Like we would assume. The reason that you don't see straight pride parades is because straight people have never really had to fight for their rights in any way whatsoever. And pride parades are about being out and open in a way that you have not been able to in the past. No one is coming against the straight people. Like, no one is attempting to take your rights. And, I mean, I hold a lot of anti-cis bigotry against, like, Evans.
Yes, this is true.
True.
But
True.
this is just ridiculous. You had, like, the Proud Boys walking and shit like that. Just awful. And it's just another way that they are trying to hide that, like, Unite the Right rally wasn't about racism. It was fucking about racism. And straight pride is another way that they're going, hey, we can be totally racist as long as we just say that it's about being straight. And it's not.
Yep.
That's basically all I have to say.
Also, their marriage type was never illegal.
Yeah.
Right.
Their sex was never illegal.
Nope.
Yeah, not all hitters.
Some of it was the premarital stuff at the time.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah,
But
not
that's
all.
one of the kind of puritanical stuff. And
Yeah, not all cishets are bad people, but Evans is.
but I mean, you donated to a cishet charity.
It is true. Yeah.
That's right. I have donated to plenty of cishet charities in my life. And so I can say whatever I want about Evans and his gingeriness.
But I've donated to other charities. Doesn't that give me
Shut
the
up
on criticism?
Shut up, cishet.
Look, all I'm
You
gonna
criticize me. I donated to some stuff.
all I'm gonna say is Maddie is my friend and I know them and therefore they can't be wrong.
That's right.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, take
there's
that, Evans.
I didn't say you were wrong.
Why do How do I get a
said you
pass
couldn't
out of
criticize
this?
me.
Hashtag
What?
stop it.
Okay.
But yeah, when it comes to the straight pride crap, it just seems like reactionaries trying to take it to the streets and get some kind of persecution thing going, kind of like the Proud Boys.
Yeah.
At least that's kind of the way I view it.
No,
I
they got to
could be
fight for
wrong.
their rights because the liberal media is trying to turn everybody gay. So
We're
true.
here. We're straight.
The agenda.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we all know that rights are a zero-sum game. It is a pie, and there's
Yes.
only so much to go around.
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely.
So let me see if I can send you this video. Let's.
I've given money to many of the cishet charities. Like I gave money to poor cishets that were looking to educate themselves on cishetitude. And,
I think you wasted your money, Maddie.
look at it was just $1 a month, and I sponsored Evans.
I still can't read, y'all.
It wasn't about reading. It wasn't about reading.
Oh shit, I messed up then.
Evans, ain't you ever heard that books are for the non-cishets?
Well, except for the Bible. That's the only book that matters.
A
Oh, boy.
non-cishet can't even read the Bible. Like they open it up and it's just a bunch of goobly gook.
That's because they ain't got the Holy Spirit in them.
roll tide.
Yep, you got to have that Holy Spirit in order to read it and understand it.
Yep, it makes you understand good.
That's right.
Praise
Holy
Jesus.
Spirit.
I can feel the Spirit moving.
Oh.
Oh, hallelujah.
Oh.
Oh.
So Red just sent a video. I wanted to ask, is it safe to play?
Yeah, it's a town hall slip up thing. It was big
Okay.
a month ago about a straight pride rally going on in Sacramento or Modesto, something like that.
Oh, yeah. This was hilarious.
All right, let's see what this is about. If I can get it.
Ooh, that's a rough. I just grabbed the first thing linked in the article.
Some bad audio.
Yeah.
No audio?
Wow, way to go, news story.
There's like
Yeah,
no
that's-
audio.
It's like
I didn't even check it. I just grabbed it out of the news link.
There's no.
That's the one where the guy says his racist organization.
Yes.
Yeah, we are a totally
Oh, wow.
peaceful racist group.
Yeah,
It-
we're yeah.
So is there absolutely no sound coming through at all?
There's no sound coming through. I mean, there's garbled.
like robotic, like
All right, here's a better
Maybe,
one. Let's
maybe
try
if
this.
okay.
Here's a better one.
Let me. I have to open up.
We
the-
interrupted the Spirit moving for this.
We'll keep on with the spirit move.
true.
Yep. Yep.
That's how that works, right?
This is Satan himself.
If
Satan.
you're,
Has come down
if you're
Hallelujah.
not for me,
My
you
brother.
you are my
by the
enemy.
fall our meeting.
Don't you touch our anointing.
In the name of Jesus, be gone, Satan.
Hallelujah.
Jesus
All right.
smited the
Bye now.
audio of that video.
This is entertaining.
Okay, so is this the new link?
Yep.
Okay, I'm trying to get it to open, and like Chrome is really slow with all this stuff going
It's the
on.
Holy Spirit. You interrupted our
Yep.
meeting.
Jesus. Jesus is
Okay.
intervening.
While we're talking, I wonder how long it's going to take me to wash this shit out of my facial hair. I've never tried it.
Probably.
Well, you have fun with that.
What
Oh,
the hell? That's the exact same.
It
No,
worked
that's
fine
good.
on my end, so
Maybe
Someone taking a bath?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
Jesus taking a bath in the audio.
I don't know what's going on.
yeah, I don't
That's
know.
really
It must not
weird.
be going over Zoom. What the hell?
I can't even get it to stop playing. Oh my god.
Thanks for liking, commenting, and subscribing.
I'm gonna have to like
You now have a virus.
I'm gonna have to quit Chrome.
You can almost make out what he's saying.
Something about race cards and Space Invaders.
Rip.
Oh, Space Invaders.
Yeah, Space Invaders is coming.
Let's try it. Let's try it through. See if it'll work through my end. Then maybe.
I don't like. Where is it? Why is it not
I need
closed?
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah,
no. What just
I
happened?
I told you.
What just?
Hi, Evans.
You're showing the
Snarky.
Zoom chat.
I told you that my Chrome was messing up.
Okay. Just a tip for the future. Don't
Don't use Chrome.
don't switch your the camera until you tell me.
I did tell you that I had to quit Chrome.
I didn't hear.
Yeah, she totally did.
I was talking about the Zoom camera.
I didn't turn off the Zoom camera.
Okay, well we're getting ready to try this again.
All right.
Did you make sure that you shared with computer audio, Red?
Did it, how do I do that?
It'll say
All
when you
right,
hit-
let me stop this and share again.
when you hit the share at the bottom left corner, it'll say
Yeah.
share with computer. You just check that.
All right, there we go.
Fourth time's the charm.
Challenge you to a public debate to defend your comments attacking us as racist. In the very first paragraph of our website at nationalstraightpridecoalition.org, we say we're there to defend all races and colors. You pulled out Caucasian. You didn't have any ramifications after, which we put in our manifesto per se. You attacked us as racism. You pulled the race card to pull in attacks against us, to justify attacks against us in that park. And when they come, you're going to turn right around and say, well, we deserved it. We haven't done anything. We're a totally peaceful racist group.
Oh my god,
I want, okay. We say we're here to defend all races. Okay, I made a bad comment there. We said we're here to defend all races and colors. I started the War Alliance, Whites Against Racism Alliance. It's on Facebook to stop hatred. And if you want to find a hatred group against blacks who've killed 20 million Americans, look at Planned Parenthood. That's where we're against.
fuck you. Fuck you.
Oh my
Bit of a
god.
Freudian slip.
Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. That's some Freudian slippage right
All right.
there.
Yeah.
So on other notes, when I should have remembered to tell Red if someone else is sharing, you got to turn the volume down pretty low on the
sorry.
video.
Oh,
I
that's
was
fine for
listening.
me.
Yeah, it's fine for us. But I was
Oh,
listening,
okay.
and then I look over at the Streamlabs, and it's just all red. So our audience is now deaf, and I'm sorry, but that's okay.
Rip.
Sorry, y'all. I really am.
we're professional around
Yeah,
here.
totes professionals.
Oh my gosh. Also, are we done with this topic now? Can we
Yeah.
move on? Okay, so I did want to not to put a spotlight on you, Dallas, but if you have a topic that you would like to discuss, you can go ahead and just rant and ramble, whatever you feel like doing, if you'd like.
Yeah, I don't have anything prepared. I was definitely wanting to hang out with you guys though. But that's about it. I didn't have anything ready.
Well,
Alright.
and I'm pretty
That's-
sure Snarky will probably add you to the group
Yes, I
after
will.
this. So if there's any
Sweet.
weeks that you want to join in, you can join in. And if you have a topic, we have a spreadsheet that you can add it to.
Yep.
Yeah, it'd be great. Yeah. I'm working on a
Awesome.
video right now. Hopefully that'll be up maybe this weekend, maybe next weekend.
Sweet.
But yeah.
Nice. Your videos are very good, very high quality,
you.
very good content you make. I think you deserve a lot more subscribers.
I have to make sure I'm subscribed.
I'd kill a landlord for Dallas Wade's voice.
Uh,
Wow.
It's an
That's
inside
a-
joke, just in
That's
case.
what-
anybody-
That's what I was apparently doing this morning.
That's what
or
you did, or you should have
you
been
thought.
doing.
Should have been doing
Should've.
fake activist.
Yeah.
I know, faketivist. That's me.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
I got my bread tube lighting and everything.
That's right, you do.
You have very sexy lighting.
Thank you.
I need to work on a setup.
I'm starting to question the cis-headitude of a lot of these people. Faithless Southerners like, I wish I had your voice. I wish I had your lighting. Oh,
Mm.
we come together and we've had a real chill voice lighting. Ooh, yeah.
Hey, you could be somewhere besides YouTube.
Ooh. Giggity, giggity. All right. So I guess that is the conclusion of our show. It's about that time. So everyone show yourself and your stuff. Awesome producer, you first.
Come and subscribe to me. I am Maddie, the Godless Iowan of the Objectively Subjective channel. And I have
Don't forget philosophically godless.
I'm not philosophical. That was a mistake. So was just Maddie. Just Maddie was a mistake. Those were horrible names. But anyway,
They're all a mistake.
it was a mistake. I think I was probably really drunk when I came up with that one.
Billy from Vader Tech.
Yeah.
I've been struggling. Like, I didn't know what to call you because you've gone through so many names. It's kind of
Yeah, it is. It's
Wonderful.
ridiculous, isn't it? It'll
Hey,
change again. Just
I have been consistently Mrs. Snarky this whole
Anyway,
time.
if you want to subscribe to me, because I have at least 2 new Godless Iowan videos coming out this month. I also have a classic video where I am responding to questions that Dallas Wade put out a long time ago
Wow.
that I'll be putting out in the near future. So yeah, subscribe to me. Lots of stuff coming up. And we're supposed to be doing some ASMR erotica.
No.
Oh,
Ooh, I kind of like that
is
idea.
Look at the heaving bosoms.
I
and the
am getting off
throbbing
of this
members.
train now.
The glowing pearl.
Glowing
The
pearls.
boobs. Yes, the pearl boobs.
Here's the deal. Most men cannot write women in their erotica.
No.
We've learned that. There's this whole string of stuff on Twitter where it's erotic books written by men, and all the stuff about women is just awful.
That's a great shill
Yeah.
right there.
One of the things
Yeah.
was
Subscribe to Objectively
her
Subjective.
breasts were like glowing pearls.
Jokes are funnier whenever you explain them.
Yes, they are.
You know
And
what,
I-
Evans? I've had just about enough of your cishet hate.
Hey, speaking
The question was, does it feel like grabbing a sandbag?
Grabbing a sandbag.
Grabbing a sandbag. That's
40-year-old virgin joke?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
yes.
oh yeah.
oh my goodness.
So we
okay.
need to have a cishet chat about this later.
Okay, so next up is Faithless
Hey, I
Southerner.
didn't even tell people to subscribe to me. Subscribe to me.
Yeah, subscribe.
Don't subscribe to Southerner. He only has one video.
Ah.
I mean, I've got a channel intro and one video.
Yeah, there's
true.
two.
But on the plus side, I haven't changed my name 17 times. It's always been Faithless Southerner. You can find me at Faithless South on Twitter. That's where I typically am, setting dumpster fires. Sub to my channel. There will be new content at some point in the future. I don't give promises anymore. But there will be content
Soon.
soon.
And very soon.
All right. So next up, hashtag Heathen.
Hi. Hashtag Heathen here. I've got a few things up on my channel. There's like my health history because I am disabled, have lots of organ issues. But yeah, subscribe to me if you want to. There's a brand new episode up. I'm going to be starting a series called Billy Hill. And Billy Hill is into the MGTOW pickup artist, men's rights activist. So he's special. So he'll be making appearances.
And Tuesday's show.
Yes, and Tuesday's show I'll be on starting September 10th. I will be over on
Objectively Subjective channel.
I told you, it's hard to say.
Provided there isn't a name change between
There
now.
won't be a name
No.
change.
Oh yeah, Tuesday nights at 7 Central.
Yep. Two
we'll be
heathens
having-
chatting.
Yes.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
Yes. All right. Next up, we have Red Venture.
Yeah, I'm Red Venture. Just dropped my second video on my channel yesterday. Some odd reason or another, I end up talking about things I have no need to talk to or shouldn't be talking about. I'm not as informed on, but it ends up that way. Like the whole trans topic in my first 2 videos. I don't know how I ended up in this area, but
They were good.
yeah, go check them there.
Serendipity.
Yep.
Certain people say that Red's channel is awesome.
Certain people. All right. Next up, we have Dallas Wade.
I'm Dallas Wade. You can find me on my channel, Dallas Wade. There's like 20-something videos there, a few hours of content. You can just turn it on and listen to it if you want to while you're like, I don't know, playing Minecraft or whatever you do.
Masturbating.
Wait, you're not supposed to talk about what you do.
Oh!
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But yeah, you can subscribe, and there should be new videos soon. I'm probably going to be going in a different direction, but I think I should still keep the audience, same sort of audience there.
Is your name gonna change?
Relatively opinionated.
Oh.
No, my name's not going to change.
It's hilarious. Okay, so yay! Awesome panel here. Very proud of this panel. So a reminder once again, I'm not monetized, so I can't get super chats or anything like that or ad revenue. So I do have a Streamlabs. Streamlabs.com, Mrs. Snarky. I also have a Patreon, patreon.com, Mrs. Snarky, and merch. I got Teespring. It is the Mrs. Snarky store. All the links are in the pooply dooply below. So yay! Thanks for all your support. And remember to know yourselves, y'all, and definitely stay snarky. Bye.
And butt stuff for bail.
Special thank you to all my lovely patrons. I so appreciate your support. Also, make sure you like, share, and subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notifications.